Before the road, there was a table. Before the fall, there was a field. Before we knew we would be scattered, he had already made it yield. We thought the judgment fell like fire, sudden, fierce, without design. But every step into the wilderness was walking into what was pre-aligned. Grain in the storehouses, rivers that run, cities that shimmer beneath the sun. We called it exile, we called it loss, but mercy was written beneath the cost. What if the breaking was never unplanned? What if the exile was held in his hand? Before we were sent, he already knew. Before we were scattered, he made provision to fields we didn't sow, wells we didn't dig, a place in the storm where mercy lives. Before we were sent, before we fell, he planted our refuge in foreign wells. Not just a warning, not just a flame, but a God who prepares before the pain. Empires rising, heavy with gold, harvest bending, rich and bold. We walked in chains but didn't see. The land was ready abundantly, not random roads, not chance of fate. Every border drawn to liberate, and even in judgment fierce and wild, he never stopped being a father to his child. Look at the pattern, trace every line. Provision was there before the decline. Before we were set, he already knew. Before we were scattered, he made provision to fields we didn't sow, wells we didn't dig, a place in the storm where mercy lives. Before we were sent, before we fell, he planted our refuge in foreign wells. Not just a warning, not just a flame, but a God who prepares before the pain. He saw the famine before the seed was dry. He raised the nations before the exile cried. He filled their barns before we arrived, so even in judgment we would survive. Joseph in Egypt, a throne before chains, bread in the valley before years of pain. Paths already carved through lands unknown, so we would never be left alone. So when we fall and lands give way, when everything we knew won't stay, maybe the road is not despair, but proof that he's already there. Before we were set, he already knew. Before we were broken, he carried us through fields we didn't sow, wells we didn't dig, grace in the places we didn't live. Before we were sent, before the flame, he whispered provision into our pain. Not just a judge, not just a king, but a God who prepares everything. Before the exile, before the cry, before the question, he replied.